Hello, my name is Matthias and I'm system engineer working for Splunk. I want to show you how you can create your own forms today, and I will call it how you can create an IP profiler or transaction profiler. What you need for it is you need Splunk 6. It's done on Splunk 6. You need to have some log data imported into Splunk. In my case, I simply use firewall data because most people know what it is, but you can even use your application data, transaction data from web pages, from applications and so on to do some tracking. And I also recommend you to download the Splunk 6 Dashboard Examples app, because this one contains several elements which we will use in our dashboards, like the maps. We will also use some single values. We will also use a text form input, so everything gets interactive and you can filter down. And we will also use some tokenizations, which is this one, so that the searches will be updated. So first of all, if you're a help desk employee, whatever, you might not be so familiar with the machine data. You might not know it exactly because you're not a specialist. But the firewall guy, he definitely knows the data, and he can also think and help you to build this. So first of all is you need to check, okay, I have now here a terabyte or gigabyte of log data. So what to look for? So first of all, I filter down, like I do some investigation, what would be interesting and so on. So I simply enter a source IP of one server in my environment. And now I can see on the left side, oh, there are maybe interesting fields like the number of bytes sent and received. There are fields so to what destination ports was the connection, to which destination IPs was their communication, and from which sources, in this case only my IP address. So that is already enough to know. So in my use case, I create a few reports now. So let's say I want to see a detailed list of the connections. So I make a stats count by source IP, destination IP, and the destination port. So this looks already nice. So I have a detailed brief overview of the top connections. I will sort these with the count, and now I can see most of the connections have been DNS. So I will filter down to the last 4 hours. And now I can save it to my dashboard panel. So I will create a new dashboard, and I tell it which is my IP profiler. And this panel list is a detailed list of connections. That's my first one. So I want to create another one. It might be interesting to know to how many different network connections or network destinations was there a connection. So that's quite easy. I simply make a stats. That's quite easy. I make another stats with distinct count of the destination IP, and I name them count of IP destinations. Okay, so there was the last 4 hours connections to 94 different destination IPs. So I can put this on my dashboard panel, my IP profiler, and I give it a title which is unique destination IPs, and I save it. I make the same again for the ports. So to how many destination ports was there some connection. So it was using 6 different ports. Let's pin it to the dashboard. Okay, what else could be interesting? So it might be interesting that we do a time chart over the different ports. So we simply do a time chart and we count by destination ports. So I get a nice visualization which ports are used. We know how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I see it on a time chart for the last 24 hours. Nice insight. So I do it on another dashboard panel. I send time chart, ports used. Okay, what else could be interesting for us? Of course, the number of bytes received. So we can do another stats. And there we do a zoom with bytes received. I have it already here. Bytes received as byte R. So it's one single number. It's hard to use. So we can do some eval. So I want to have it in megabytes. So we will make eval bytes received. And we want to round it. And we want to round it to 2 commas after it. But we want also to have it in kilobyte and we want to have it in megabyte. So, and now we have the transfer in megabyte. And we will also place these with that's then a single value to our dashboard. And the same we do also with the sent one. So now I have the megabytes sent. I put it also on a dashboard panel. Okay, so we did already a little bit. What's also interesting is to have both of these values over time chart. I'm doing a little trick, so copy paste, and here you can see to have a time chart with sum of bytes received, sum of bytes sent, and another one rounded and calculated to megabyte. And now I have a nice time chart. I put this also on the dashboard. Traffic megabyte, and I save it. Okay, so what's also interesting, these was some basics, but I want to show you even that you can make it even more interesting. So you can even say you want to look up things. So in my case, I do an IP location lookup of the destination IP, so in which countries was their communication. You might also use some internal asset database lookups, which departments, which informations, and so on. That's your creativity you need to do. That's your job, and I'm sure you're able to do it. So in my case, I want to look up these, and then I want to make a geostats, and I want to make a count by destination port. So, oops, IP location. And now I have a nice list, latitude, longitude, the ports, and that's also save to dashboard. Later on we will convert it to a map. So I will put it to my IP provider and I say that's my destination ports map. Okay, so far it's nice. Let's look what we have in our dashboard. So in our dashboard we now have the detailed list of connections, unique destination, unique ports, we have our time chart, megabyte received, and we have our destination port map. So this is all not very dynamic, or I can edit the panels, so I can make the single values up, unique destination ports, the megabytes received might also be interesting, and the rest we can make side by side. Detailed list of connections, we move it down. It's this one, traffic of ports used, the map one, and the list of detailed connections we do down. Okay, so this looks not very pretty, and it's not interactive, it's static. So we want even to make it a little bit prettier. So we change here some values. So it looks already better. We can also edit a little bit. So we can make a label and say after a megabyte send 9 megabyte. We can even put it here and say before the label received, after the label in megabyte. After the label ports, and under the label different ports used. So we can see 6 ports, 6 different ports used, and we can here even edit it and say after the label destinations, and under the label even different apply. So that looks already better. So now we want to start the dashboard fun with making it a little bit interactive. So first of all, we go to edit source. So here we need to do a little bit XML tuning, but it's quite easy, so I'm sure you can do it. So the first thing is we convert the dashboard to a form, because then we can enter afterwards some form information. So after converting it to a form, nothing happens. You don't see anything. But you can now, for example, add the time range picker, and you can also set the default time range. Let's take last 24 hours. Done. So first of all, you can see the time range picker does not work. Nothing is happening. Nothing is updated. Why? That's because each search has, in this one, you can see the megabyte sent has an earliest and a latest timestamp. So we are going to remove these for every search. So everywhere you see earliest and latest, just kick it out. The first one, leave it. That's our time range picker. It's set to true without to run. Submit button is false. So let's add on submit button. And when it's changed, we don't run it. So you need to take the submit button. Okay. And now you can see the dashboard loads immediately because it was set to auto run, and now the time range is the last 24 hours. So that's already very interesting. What we also want to fix is the destination ports map. So we can see the different geobins with latitude and longitude on the map and different values. So that's even quite easy. If you go to the examples dashboard app, you can cheat and view into maps, and you can see what map you want to use. So you can use the built-in map, or you can use the OpenStreetMap. Both are very similar, and you can see that here is the title is map. Yeah? You can even see the geostats command I used. You can even see here IP location, yeah? And you can even see some options. So in this one it's map, and everything is the standard map. And the other one is the OpenStreetMap, where we have a layer where the URL goes to OpenStreetMap. So in our case, we just take the standard map, which is shipped with it. So we go again to edit source, and now you can change it. So we check where is it, the destination ports map, and it's not a table, it's a map. So that's all we do. We simply change it to map. No parameters, nothing, because you can add parameters so that the zoom level is different, or the zoom level is directly over Germany or Europe or the US. I save it. And as you can see, it has changed as map. And you can see where is the connection. And with the mouse over, you can see its stats by source. So that's by destination port. So that's the trick of the search. So you see where the communication was going on. So that's very nice already. We can profile the hour. We have some key performance indicators. That's already interesting, but we want to make it interactive, so a support guy, someone from the help desk, someone who is not so familiar with the data can even use it for multiple things, because you don't want to have such a dashboard per server or per source IP. So we need here a field, and we need an input field, so we can type an IP address. And we need also to ensure that it's filtered down by this token. The input, we tell it token, which is entered, so that everything is updated. So how this is going? You go again to the dashboard examples app, and here we pick up a form. Here you can see different form inputs. So the simplest one is the text form. But you can even use a drop down. So in the background is a search running, populating the drop down. So it's dynamically. You can even make it static. Or a radio input form, time range picker. We just did this. Cascading form input or multiple selections. The nice thing is you can always go into these examples. I take the text form, and here you can see we have you can enter something. And we have here a title, and again our search button. And the nice thing is you directly see here the field set. So in this case it's input type text, token is gone to limit, and the label is enter an integer n. There you see it, and you can see the default one, it's 1. So I will do a copy of this input. And additional to this, we want to see how are these inputs used. So you can see top dollar, limit dollar, so that's the token name. Source types based on n entered by user. So you can see even here, it's updated. You see top 1 ISDFS. So that's interesting. So it's directly updated here. Even if you make a number 2, It's not working because the input is wrong, but now it's working. I do a search. And now I have the top two. So it's not only here, it's even in the search. And in the search you can see it's a top command with limit, dollar, limit, dollar. So we need to add our token to each search as a filter instead of our IP we used. I will show you. We go to our dashboard and edit the XML. And then right next to the, or before of the time range picker, we enter our, we copy paste our input. We set the token to, let's take it simply IP. Enter an IP address. So I save it. Let's see if it did work. You can see my IP profile and an IP address. And we have our time range picker. But if I enter something, nothing is filtered down, nothing is happening. Why that? Because it's not still active or mapped to our searches. So you can see we have even a default value. I will directly use as default value the IP address I'm testing with, because then I don't need to type it and I don't need to remember it. So our token is IP, so we can now go into our searches and filter down and say IP dollar, and you can use it everywhere. IP sent, I can use it in the title. Megabyte received. Everywhere where we have just filtered in our report creation down to the IP address, I will simply replace it by the token. And also to show it for you, I will add it in the time charts port used from IP, so you can also see that it's working in the title. I save it. And now you can see it's the default value is right. The megabyte sent, received, unique destination ports used, destination IPs used. You can even see here it's filtered down, and you can even see here the traffic one. So I can do it with the last 4 hours, and I click search. So you can see that the megabyte sent, megabyte received, unique destinations, or the megabyte sent was going down. Also the time ranges are customized correctly, the time charts are correctly, and even the detailed list was filtered to this IP address. But now you can even use star for search for everything, and you can even filter down, for example, by an IP, even by a source IP, because we don't, or destination IP, because we haven't filtered this out. So I can search for the Google DNS server, for example, and now the last 4 hours I know that there was communication about 400 kilobytes sent, over 33 megabytes received. It was only used one destination port to one destination IP, of course. You can see how the DNS queries are happening. You can see only one port is used, which is what we expect. And even in the detail of this connector, you can see which IP did communicate to this IP address. So this was now a nice use case. Imagine you can use this for everything, even Splunk, marketing, or a customer service, where the customer service has a dashboard where he enters the mobile device number and selects with a time range picker the last X minutes, and then he does a search, and then he can see the customer authentications over time, the download history. We even do some lookups, so review compliance. We can even see some notes, lost interactions, and error history, and so on. So I hope it helped you, and I hope you will build more interactive dashboards, doing more use of Splunk, getting out more value out of Splunk. Thanks for watching the video. Have a nice day.